Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you see this message. Do you hear me? Oh, I just love God. I just love Him for everything that He's done. Um, how He keeps doing stuff for me, and uh, I don't know. I just love Him. Um, I just want to encourage you all today, right? I know the last podcast we were talking about something, but on this one, I just want to um, encourage you. You know, what I'm gonna do different. I'm gonna open up with a little song, and then we'll jump into it. Maybe that's where I'm going with this. So it just says, sometimes you have to encourage yourself, and sometimes you have to speak victory during the test. And no matter how you feel, just speak the word and you will be healed. Speak over yourself and encourage yourself in the Lord. Oh, oh, sometimes you have to speak that word over yourself. Mm. Depression is all around, but my God is the present help. Where me created a wall, but remember, giants, they do fall. So speak over yourself and encourage yourself in the Lord. I feel like we should just do something differently, you know? Do something a little different as we get ready to talk about a deep topic, right? We've been talking about the grief, right? We've been talking about how to healthy process through this so you can go forth and continue to move forward. And we recently been talking about the guilt, shame. We've been talking about anger and how that anger will bring on addictions. And something that I wanted to read that I read a few weeks ago was that addiction isn't just about drugs or alcohol, right? And I said this in our last podcast. It could be food, shopping, sex, social media, overworking, anything we use to avoid our feelings. When we carry unspoken anger, especially the kind that is rooted in childhood rejection or betrayal, it festers. And sometimes addictions becomes a way to silence it. We say, I'm just having a drink to relax. But what are we really trying to numb? What feelings are we really trying to numb? And so, in our last podcast, I was talking about the broken relationships, right? Broken relationships in regards to family, broken relationships and friends, and the broken pieces that are now set all around us because of our addictions. Whatever we chose to be our addiction, whatever we chose to be our God, whatever we chose to have power and consume us, whatever we decided that was going to be more important than those that love us, than those that we say we love, than those things that are important, that may be a priority. We have allowed this addiction to break relationships, right? And the broken pieces of how do we get those back together. I had a conversation with someone and they were expressing of how can I get over my anger. I watched your podcast a few ago, and you were talking about anger and how this anger does this and the anger does that and how it works. But how can I move forward in this? How can I really adapt, to talking to certain family members again. And I don't know, all the things that I've been through, I've been hurt. I'm considered the black sheep, but I'm really like this, I'm really like that. And, to hear those terms. And I said to them, I said, coming from someone that understands what anger looks like, how it feels, how you feel in the moment, coming from someone that understands that some things wasn't your fault, right? Especially when it comes to childhood, there's things that happen, and sometimes it's hard for us as children to even express what we faced. Um, and it brings on, we have this, all of a sudden we have this anger and resentment towards a lot of friends and family because you didn't believe me, you didn't hear me. And then we subdue to other things, such as I listed before: drugs, alcohol, food, shopping, sex, social media, overworking. We found other outlets that will appease us. We found other outlets that will, this person, this thing right here will listen to me. I can talk to this water all day and all night, and this water gonna listen to me because it's not gonna give me any feedback. It's not gonna hold me accountable. How many relationships have we broken due to our addictions? How many divorces were made due to an addiction? How many lives were changed because of the addiction? And when I'm saying lives, I'm talking about our families. I'm talking about those that we say we love, those that we say that we trusted, and I trusted you with this, I trusted you with that. And as in my last podcast, I said everybody had that uncle or cousin or auntie that was always still doing something, always in something, always had was an outlet, and the family would say, well, they always been doing that their whole life. What is the story behind the broken relationship? Why do we as a culture decide to sweep a lot of things under the rug? Why do we as a culture decide not to really talk about why, uncle was allowed to watch all the girls or make them stay in his room? Why don't we talk about those things? Why don't we talk about why now so many family members are now saying stuff after 30 years? The relationships being torn, and the trust is broken. And I'm just giving examples of stuff that people have done. Why don't we talk about the children that grow up as fatherless children? Their dad is taking care of other kids and he's not in their life. Or the fathers that say, I'm on my way to come pick you up and leave the kids sitting out on the porch. Or they standing at the window still waiting 1 o'clock in the morning for their dad to come pick them up, and he never does. And now the child is now thinking there's something wrong with me. And what do they resort to doing? Whatever is going to make them feel better. Of worrying why the guilt and shame of why this thing, I don't have a relationship with this person. Why I don't have a relationship? How come every time I needed something, you never came through for me? The broken relationships, it's probably even like a surface level. Like, I know I probably can't even get done with this today. The broken relationships of constantly what goes in my house stays in my house. The broken relationships of not allowing us to be able to tell you the truth. Do you know that the foundation of a lot of lies is in the house? Ooh, somebody gonna be mad at me. They're gonna be mad. I don't want to hear about, well, this person, they're a liar. It's in the house. It's a foundation that was laid in the house. Something simple as, was probably telling my age, but when we was growing up, you would see different bill collectors call, and you would be over somebody's house, and the family would say, tell them I'm not here. You're training your child even then to lie. Something minor, because we didn't have caller ID, so everybody picked up the phone every time they called, right? We were training our children then to be malicious. But then when bigger things happen, we try to departmentalize what's right and what's wrong. We try to departmentalize those of us that's in the kingdom. Some of us, we understand, like, people try to departmentalize what's big sin, little sin, what's right, what's wrong. Well, they try to bring the gray area versus it being just black and white. And we do that because we're trying to figure out what's the best excuse to use so that we're not charged at the fault. You know, I had a conversation with my son a few weeks ago, my older one, and I said, son, I was like, sometimes when I self-reflect, you were my firstborn, this, that, and the third. We went through a lot together. I'm sorry for things that maybe I didn't do right. Whether you saw it, maybe you heard me, maybe you saw me fussing or doing this, cussing, this, and that, and the third. Like, I apologize for even sometimes if I took my anger out on you because you didn't deserve it. You didn't really know what was going on. And I had to express that to him because sometimes even our first children, they see everything, right? They may not know in detail, even as a child, from the upbringing, what could be happening, what could be wrong. But I had to express to him, I was not perfect. I was very protective. And I was protective because of some things that happened to me that should not have happened. But sometimes as parents in our protection, it can come off like, man, can I get a little room to breathe? I didn't want him to be in a place where he couldn't still be himself. And me hovering all over him because of what happened in my past. So many addictions can be formed from the children on up. Addictions of lying. See, that's not even on there. Addictions of lying, of being malicious, and all of this anger and grief and strife and relationships being broken because of the trust being broken. Parents that didn't raise their children have a different relationship with someone who does or have raised their children growing up. Some children, when a parent want to ask for forgiveness and come back into their life, some children, even as adults, can't take that because they may not be ready for that, right? Sometimes we don't see eye to eye because of how we may have felt. And then when the opportunity comes, some of us, you know what, I'm going to give you a try. I'm going to rebuild it, right? Some of them, they'll be like, well, I gave you chance after chance after chance after chance. I'm done. It's over with, right? But those are still, and some of those underlying things are addictions. And even under that is the root of anger. I was having a conversation with someone and I said, anger is like the seed, the root of it, like a tree. But I said the seed has been planted, right? Now the water of the different situations and the water of discords, the waters of mistrust, the soil and everything that's around it, of the calamity, of the heartbreak, of loss of a loved one, loss of jobs, the things that's been spoken over your life. All of these things, you grow up with a bitterness, you grow up with anger, you grow up with a very defensiveness because you feel like nobody believes me, nobody understands me. So I have to be very defensive in order to really represent myself. So now you see a lot of relationships where the mothers are against the daughters, the fathers are against the sons, and vice versa, because of a communication, a conversation has not been transpired of truth. Let's be real. A lot of young adults and a lot of youth have experienced some things that they've never been able to express to their parents. I went through something very catastrophic, but I was not able to express to my mom until I was an adult. And because that person said to me, nobody would believe you. And as a child or a preteen, when you hear those kind of things, you're absorbing that and you will believe that. So when youth and young adults are growing up and they have all this anger and bitter, Sometimes I just want to give you a hug. I understand when a person is dealing with addictions, I have a heart for them because you have a story. You just didn't wake up and say, I want to do every drug. I want to do every alcohol. I want to sit up here and I want to go do this, do that. I have a gambling issue. There is something that drove you to it. We don't just wake up and say, we're going to do it. Oh, I'm going to do this today. No. What's the story behind it? If you feel like you were left out as a young adult, as a child, express that. Because now when the truth, that's your truth, right? That's your truth. When you start telling your truth, right? And you're expressing your truth, and you're speaking your truth, nobody, not one person, can tell you whether it's true or not because you know, right? Now, if you have falsified truth, okay, you and your falsified truth, which is lies, is going to still be exposed, right? Through the other person that knows the truth. And sometimes, and let's just go there real quick, there are some people that their false imaginations or their illusions really make them think that what they're saying is true, is law. No matter what you tell me, I don't believe you because this is what I know. Nope, ain't worried about it because I know this to be true. I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is true. And it causes broken relationships. It causes other relationships that don't have anything to do with this person to be broken because a lot of people pick a side. Is it true? Is it not? What's happening over here? What has happened? What has transpired? What is the truth of the matter? Did it really happen or didn't it happen? That's why a lot of times when someone in the family has passed away, the family divides. It never fails. The families divide. Why? Because I'm a strong person, but never written, it never happened. And so when stuff happens, well, this person wanted it this way, that person wanted it that way, or this happened that way. I heard this, I heard that. All of these things come arising after someone passes away, right? But it's not like we can go back to them and ask them if it's true or not. It's not that we can go back and say what is happening. So now you have people that become very defensive, and the anger comes and the rage comes because we're trying to defend what we know is truth. And then that person on the other side is defended because this is what they believe as well. And it has broken relationships. Some families never recover and they divide, and the kids grow up divided. Everybody's growing up divided and nobody really knows why. Because we go back to the old mentality, we sweeping stuff under the rug, goes in my house, stays in my house. And then hurt people begin to hurt people. They start to say things and it gets spreaded. From what you were saying, the dog went across the street, turns into the dog went over the river through the woods to where my house would go. And then when he went over there, he took hers. It goes to a whole nother level because now other people are adding themselves into conversations, adding themselves into situations. Now, because of the brokenness, you got this side against this side. And not once have anybody expressed the love. Addictions. Let's even examine our own selves to see what could we have caused in our own families for something we said. What did we do that was hurtful? What did we do that was so disrespectful? Just everything. Did we get a chance to mend that relationship? Did we get a chance to reconcile? Did we get a chance to even say, I'm sorry? You know, I was definitely in my feelings. I should not have approached it like that. Right? I should not have said those things. I should have came to you first before I went to everyone else. You know, I shouldn't even sent that text message. I should have called you. I should have said, let's meet face to face. There's such a brokenness in the families to where you actually are having retaliation of violence. And when I say violence, I mean some of them are actually killing each other. What does that look like? Why are we here? What is the anger built up so bad that it caused you to react this way? Why are we in this mindset, mind frame? And it's always that one person in the family that knows the whole truth, regardless if anybody liked this person or not. They were the one that everybody could talk to. They were the one that everybody could confide in. And this person still showed what we call today the agape love towards the person with the addiction, towards every person that they come encounter with, towards that I'm not going to change on you because everybody else got an attitude with you. I'm not going to talk like that about you. I'm not going to look at you a certain way because everybody else feel that way about you. I'm not going to do that. Just as we have those that are suffering from addictions, we always have that one person that will still give them a plate when they're hungry, that will still allow them or give them a few dollars so they can go somewhere and go to sleep. Right? Not that they probably won't let you sleep in their house, but they might give you a few dollars. You always have that one person that understands, like, I still love you. Even in this, I still love you. Even in this of what you're facing, I still love you. I don't care how you look. I don't care how you smell. I don't care, what it is. I still love you. The broken relationships can always be mended. It's what we choose to do in that moment. It's what we choose and what we say that can make those changes. Now, excuse me, you know that you probably been wrong this whole time. You know that you said things that weren't right. We go on social media and I can't stand it. Well, but we go on social media, we air out every laundry, and some stuff is just emotional that we don't really allow, and that's just adding fuel. That's adding coals to let the fire keep burning up, right? And it makes the anger, and it could arise, to where the retaliation going back and forth. This person over here going back and forth. This person over here going back and forth. But where's the truth? We get a gang of people on each side, right? And we get the gangs up because everybody at this point is like, well, I saw this and somebody told me this. This person said this and this person said that. But 9 times out of 10, most people don't come to the person that it's all about because they don't want to know the truth. Many broken relationships lives in a false reality. Many broken relationships live with the mentality of, I'm going to, the tit for tat, I'm going to hurt you because you hurt me. Many of broken relationships don't come back to be mended until there's another funeral. That's when everybody wants to apologize. Everybody's emotional. Why? Because some of those people that deal with their addictions, they're now, I love y'all, I miss y'all. Let's not wait till the next family gathering. Let it not be this. Let it not be that. We've all faced that, right? We've all faced that. We've all dealt with that. But even in those moments of dealing with the broken relationships, how many of us are going to show that love? Right? Even after you've told your truth and you said all that you had to say, something that I expressed to someone, I said, you don't have to prove yourself. Because even after I've noticed that when we tell people the truth, they still going to believe what their narrative is. And that's something that we just can't control. Don't live in the guilt and shame and still roll back to the addiction because nobody believes you. At that time, they may not. But you get yourself together because you know that once I told them the truth, it's off of me. I'm not going to prove myself to people no more. I don't care how many pictures you got to show. I don't care how many this and that. People are still going to believe what they want to believe. And that's sad. Pictures, yes, pictures have expiration dates. Videos have expiration dates. All right. But what are you doing about yourself today so that you can excel for tomorrow? How are those relationships? Man, I gotta get ready to go. What are we doing to mend the families? Okay. Is the person that started all the mess, are they going to be held accountable? Can we self-examine ourselves and say, you know, I didn't have a good relationship with my son's father or my baby mama, as they say, baby mom, baby daddy, and it made our child grow up with anger and resentment now towards the both of us. Can I apologize to my child for neglecting them when I should have been doing it? Can I apologize to my parents? Can I apologize to myself? Like, you know what? You didn't make these right choices. You didn't do some of these things right. And then let's hold the things that did us wrong and the childlike situations that was not in our control. Let us face those. I wore this particular shirt today because I had a great aunt who was absolutely amazing. You know, I had to understand that she was my aunt and not my grandmother, right? Um, and to hear the stories of how she was very adamant about my father and his siblings and all of them to continue their relationship, um, regardless of what the situation was. She ensured that we all knew each other. Once I became of age, it was like, do you want to know your family down south or no? Get to know them. And I fell in love with this lady like never before. And I always wonder, like, who is this lady? Like, oh, she's coming up here, she's coming up here. And I'd be like, who is she? Like, is this a celebrity or something, you know? But the more I learned and to sit at her feet and just to hear the stories and the wisdom and knowledge that, and I'll gladly proclaim her name, Aunt Dean, you know, she would sit there and tell you so much and it would be the truth, you know. And she said, now you're going to hear this, you're going to hear that, but I'm going to give you the truth. And she was unbiased. And so one thing about this great woman was that she loved everyone, and she will always end with the phone conversation, I love y'all, I love all y'all. And so this shirt, I believe it was last year, in honor of her 100th birthday, we all came together. And so the shirt says, Kinish, if I could read upside down, one love, one family. And it has her birthday of May 11th, 1924. And so this was a big thing for us, right? It was a big thing because, you know, it was like if she saw you, you were family, whether you were blood related or not. And she, regardless of your addictions, regardless of your situations, regardless of your problems, regardless of this, that, or the third, she never changed on you. Like you can literally tell her everything that you did, and she still loved you. You know, my auntie was up there in her age, and if I still came down there, you best believe I was coming back with gifts of food. Okay, she was gonna take care of her. Okay, whether she made it or she had somebody else do it or she had this and that and the third going on, it was going to be taken care of. So when I tell you that even in the broken relationships, there's still that one person that's not going to give up on that family. There's still that one person that you can count on, that you could reside to say, I just need to vent. I just need to talk to you about this. I need to get this off my chest. I need to. That was that person. And she passed away, and she was definitely missed, you know, and that was on my father's side. And, you know, I had great, awesome grandmothers. I have great, awesome grandfathers. I had a great, you know, the matriarchs and patriarchs in my family that was awesome people. And when we lose those people, who's going to help the family stay together after that, right? Who is it? My husband was a big glue to his family, right? And he was definitely a big glue in our house, but he's not here no more. So how do you blend that? How do you take the initiative to say, hey, we're going to still press on. This is what we're going to do. How bad is it to pick up a phone and apologize? How hard is it for some people to say this, that, and the third? We are family, right? Every household, there is no perfect family. There is no perfect family. There is no perfect family. There is not one person. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what it can be. There is always going to be some situations, but it is how we deal with it. How do we deal with those that suffer from addictions? How do we deal with those that we say we love? And even if they mess up, are we going to give up? Or are we going to still help? Are we going to have a sit-down conversation to really understand why they are the way they are? What made them choose this? Because I guarantee you, if we listen to the story of why Uncle started, at the age of 11 or 12, started drinking. Why our great aunt became very promiscuous at the age of 10. Well, let me swipe my 27 piece to the back like my president, okay? What? I'm telling you, there's always a story behind addiction. It just, you don't wake up. There's stories behind people being broken and the families and the dynamic. If the enemy can destroy the families, that's it. That's all he has. He doesn't have to do anything else. Why? Because if the charity is not in the home, if the love is not in the home, he is corrupted. And now we spread out those seeds. And now what? They're spreading it to the next person. They're doing it over here. They're doing it over there. Woo. Let me get up out of here. Know that broken relationships can be reconciled. Don't allow the circumstances in the world now to make you come back. Don't let it be too late. You okay? Try to mend those relationships now. You have an opportunity every day that you get up to apologize, to repent, to protect your peace. You have the opportunity to say, you know what? I don't have to respond on social media because those are triggers and I don't need that. You have an opportunity to be the best and to fulfill your purpose. Why? Because you were created to do it. It's predestined over you. That's why you can't give up. That's why you can't give in. You are more than a conqueror. If you only knew how important you are. I love you all. Don't give up. Don't give in. You will win. Thank you all. And until next time, stay amazing. Bye.
Is she dead now?
Thank you. You wasn't really good though, so I don't think you need no McDonald's.
You do. I want to go McDonald's.
Mm-mm. You weren't having the best.
I was the best.
I don't think so.
I was sitting on the seat.
You was throwing stuff on the floor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were. Mm-mm-mm.
I was sitting on the floor. And I was waiting for you to
Don't you touch that. Get over there. Get over here. Get your tablet. Let's go.
It goes to red car. So I could say, Antonio, can you give me a toy?
That's not his name.
That's his name, Toe.
No, that's not his name.
What is his name?
Mr. Tone, Mr. Antonio.
I'm gonna say
And absolutely not.
I'm gonna say Mr. Tone. He's gonna give red card and he's gonna give orange card. You go to wait, where's Mr. Antonio? Mom, where's Mr. Antonio? Honey, where's Mr. Antonio?
Hmm?
Where did he go?
Hmm?
Where did he go? You gonna get ready to go?